Right. Hello, everyone. So, as promised in the first exam prep meeting, I had a glance at the case studies and sort of discerned the following as potential questions. So, the same rules apply. You have to study everything. It doesn't mean that these questions will make an appearance, but based on the content, this is what I would look at. You'll see that I've mentioned specific learning units and slides. Please let me know, or please let Em and Kim know if you want copies of my slides. I'm quite happy to share those. So, in terms of the first one, remember we're leaving out obviously Old Mutual because it has appeared as exam previously, and leaving out the last one. The two that I'm focusing on are the two that haven't appeared. It doesn't mean that those case studies will not be there. So, again, prepare all four, but my focus would be on this. Right. So, the reality is, looking at the content, there is definite mention of a corporate strategy and, in particular, a strategic alliance. So please look at Learning Unit 3 and just look at joint venture strategic alliances, look at the differences and similarities between those, and then link it. And I think this is, if I recall, in the very, very first paragraph. There are quite a few references to potential organizational architecture and the issues within that. So you'll see the technology component and how organizations use technology as a building block. Capabilities, how they use capabilities to maximize what they can get out of their resources. There's also some reference to your stakeholders. So definitely in my learning unit 6 slides, it is there, and I'm pretty sure that if you do a bit of digging, you'll find it in your slides as well. But again, my slides are available if anyone wants it. I will load this as well, and I think I've already shared it with Kim and M. So there is a little bit on strategic innovation, slides 6 and 7 in particular, just elements around strategic innovation. So if I look at my slides, it is this. Sorry, just hold on a second. Right. So again, not that my slides are any different to M's and Kim's. So it's those two elements, this idea of constantly being at the cutting edge of adopting and adapting to technologies that will give you an advantage. And then elements here, I think this idea that it requires constantly pushing the notion that it's innovate or evaporate. So have a glance at those. And then in strategic leadership, there are some elements that I think could be relevant. Let me open strategic leadership as well. So in terms of strategic leadership, you'll see it is, let me just find the slide that I'd indicated it would be. Right, strategic leadership, LU5, slide 30. Now, obviously, it can't be just these, but I'm just simply looking at what potentially could come out based on the content that the case study provides. And it's that idea of distinctive capabilities. Again, rare, costly, non-substitutable. Be careful. We've seen this question in the past. And yeah, it's easy to get those confused, but maybe have a look at that. But again, you're studying absolutely everything. So those are worth taking a glance at. The best before, I spent quite a bit of time trying to discern what might come out of this. And yeah, I wish I had more to offer in terms of these. So definitely some elements of strategic innovation and red and blue ocean strategies. And obviously there's so many food retailers around that this is a tough area to compete. If you can argue that this is so new that it's blue ocean, you can maybe get away with it. In my mind, I believe it's a red ocean strategy, and maybe Em and Kim can also jump in when they listen to the recording. guys. And then also elements, definitely elements around sustaining innovation there. So if I look at sustaining innovation, it's slide, didn't know, I keep looking at that 10 and 11. Certainly, this idea of using what we have and improving our approach to dealing with existing customers. So it just takes an existing idea and then within that existing market just reformulates what it means to provide good value for money in terms of this one. The other one that I thought it could also be is the new value curve, and I have a strong suspicion it might be this, the new value curve. What slide is that? 1127. Okay. Yeah, it could be this one as well. So have a glance at that. I think I took that straight from the textbook because the idea is that, they're creating, they're reducing, they're eliminating, and they're raising in terms of the different elements of that, and then link it to the case study as well. It could also be a little bit of value innovation. Unfortunately, I'm not finding many elements of differentiation. So I'm a little bit reluctant, but I think I put that in there. Did I? Yeah, I think I put it in there. Okay. And then, yeah, I then carried on in terms of this. Sorry, this is duplicated, but I'll fix that. So it is this. We see the value innovation a little bit reluctant to include that because there is no differentiation, but we don't know what we are going to get, to be honest with you. So let me just do that and then just change this as well. Right. So that is that part there. So these here. Again, no guarantee, guys, no guarantee, but at least based on the content, that's what I think it may be. Right. And then the next one, yeah, a clear example of market development and a couple of references to market development in the idea that they're opening new new shops and want to shop in every town in South Africa, which is clear and a clear indication of market development. So you'll see in terms of my slides, I just need to see what the slide number is. Just need to see what the slide number is there. So it is slide 10, learning unit 3. And then you can see very, very clear evidence of that. Not much in my slide, but there is enough there to write on and expand on. And if you need to, you can obviously go and look at the textbook as well. But very clear evidence of that. And you'll see in the case study, it talks about wanting to expand into every town in the city, every city, every town in the country, every city in the country. My apologies for that. Right. And then just, yeah, so here I've now gone and duplicated it. My apologies for that as well. And then, yeah, there's some elements of organizational architecture. Learning Unit 6, again, some sort of reference to stakeholders. Now, obviously, that is what I can discern from what is in the actual case study. But they could say to you, for example, that best value want to open up in Namibia, which international strategy would be the most appropriate, or which expansion strategy. So you still need to know all those elements, or you do an analysis of Namibia in terms of Porter's diamond with. I don't think that's a feasible question though, because you need extra information. Also remember, in terms of this, the expansion strategy, this cage model is new and it seems to be a default setting. So just also when you look at the international strategy, that you look at the cage model. I'm struggling to find a lot on strategic leadership, and then obviously some organizational architecture. I really struggle to find evidence of much organizational architecture discussion in best value. I don't know if this helps. The truth remains that you have to study absolutely everything. None of this is in any way, shape, or form suggested will be in the exam. So you have to study everything. And maybe this gives a little bit of extra guidance in terms of what may be there. Maybe this is just a waste of time. And either way, I don't know. I don't have much else to give. Thank you. If you have listened to this, please take care. Cheers.